Welcome to this session on the logical framework approach to professional development. These days, for most of us, professional development is a necessity and not a luxury. I'm going to share with you some design principles using the logical framework so you can create and implement your own program faster with fewer obstacles along the way. We'll walk through a complete example of how one individual did it, and then I'll leave you with 7 tips and a challenge to create your own development program. These principles apply both to professional development projects and personal development projects, and in many cases, they overlap. My hunch is that you already have a professional development program of some sort, either formal or informal, and there might be many reasons. The first, a desire to learn and grow. There's a basic human desire as we go through our lives and a career to learn new skills, new techniques, new ways of operating to enhance your current performance, to pick up practical skills to make you better in the job you're in now, to protect yourself against career threat. Each day, thousands of well-educated, smart people lose their jobs due to industry dynamics, due to outsourcing. So you want to develop the kind of skills that can't be automated, robotized, or outsourced, and the logical framework is certainly one of them. To develop a competitive edge, to add to your skill set some capabilities that others in your industry, in your profession, in your peer group do not have, gives you an edge. To strengthen your brand, to position yourself for the future. Where do you want to be in your career and life 3 to 5 years from now? What skills is that going to take, and how can you start developing them now? Finally, just for the fun of it. You've learned about the logical framework in other modules and how it applies to projects of all types. Let's do a quick refresher, and then we'll come back and apply it specifically to professional development. I'm standing in front of a wall-sized logical framework. Teams will often use this to collaboratively develop a project. And I just want to go through some of the major elements. There's 4 columns. The first column talks about objectives. We're going to set up a hierarchy of linked objectives. The second and third columns have to do with success measures and verifications. And these are ways to identify what success looks like at each level. The fourth column deals with assumptions, those external factors always necessary for success. And then there are 4 rows: goal, purpose, outcomes, inputs. These are linked according to some internal logic. And the logical framework is just not a box to write stuff in, but it's a set of interactive ideas. And once you get the hang of it, it's a powerful way to think, plan, act, and get the results that you want. Now we'll go back into the studio for more detail. The foundation of a sound strategy is a clear set of valid if-then linkages. And that's what the first column of the logical framework does. Let's go through a few examples. Now these begin, as Stephen Covey said, with the goal in mind and work down to some strategies to get there. Let's test them bottom up. This comes from a 30-year-old individual, an engineer, who wanted to go international. He thought that if he learns Chinese, then he can work in China. If he works in China, it'll advance his career. Makes sense, clear, specific logic. This is the what he can make happen, a little bit of work involved. This is the why he wants to do it, the big picture why. A second example, if I get my professional certification, then I'll distinguish my brand. If I distinguish my brand, it opens up new opportunities. This is the what we can make happen. This is the why you want to do it. This is the bigger picture why. Simple and straightforward. But the value of this logic is that you can identify some of the other linkages. You can set measures along the way. It systematizes and makes your development projects much more strategic. In the coaching side of my practice, I've helped hundreds of individuals, and I've identified a general pattern that applies. It looks like this. The goal relates to a personal or professional benefit you'll get from the learning. The purpose is how you'll be different. What's the enhanced capability or behavior change? What's different after you've done this learning? Some typical outcomes have to do with learning and skills development, and I bet that your plan has some of this. It can include the development of new habits and beliefs. A third element is external outreach or networking, because increasingly we're a connected world and your network is important. My interest in this topic goes way back when I had a lot more hair and it was a lot darker. I wrote a couple books on career and life strategy, and a fundamental component of any strategy is ongoing professional learning and development. So let's get more specific into how the logical framework can help you do that.